Yeah, and we have heard word on the street is that scrims have been going a whole lot better with Guga. He's sort of like stepped in and then things got a whole lot better in the Nongshim camp. So looking forward to seeing some of those results here on the stage. Yes, there was some signs of life against BNK, but wasn't quite there in the end, right? So we'll just have to see. This is a much bigger test up against T1 as they have their first match back. It's the second for Nongshim. Already, the Jax and Corki banned away as we dive into the draft, and the first ban is going to be the Ashe. And on this patch, kind of confusing as to where that ban is going because I always associate it with Keria.
Let's see where the Rumble/Skarner goes here, because this ban specifically right here is the tough one, because you know that T1 will pick the Skarner if you leave it open. Are they going to ban Rumble now? Is Dundun comfortable to try to Rumble against this Skarner? These are questions that we don't know the answer to just yet. But we know that Zeus is going to love to play any Prio top laner if they can get their hands on it, and they have often given them counter pick.
Yeah.
You think about playoffs going into the LCK finals, that was kind of the MO. See what this final ban will be for T1. A lot of thought going this one. It will be that Rumble ultimately banned by them. And now the Senna/Nautilus question has to pop up.
Very true.
Keria Guma, you just don't want to let that one through.
And thankfully, I mean, Nongshim can pick one of them away. I think first pick Nautilus is very powerful, though, just because it does fit with so many things. And if that Senna does end up going through, then you do get that. But then they get the suboptimal Senna lane if you don't. So I think the Nautilus ban would make a lot of sense. However, Twisted Fate is certainly one of Zeus' favorite champions at the moment.
Now, we talked about this a lot earlier this week. Is it the Senna you want, or is it the Nautilus you want when both are left up? Because Keria has loved to play Wukong even in the type of lane.
True. It is very different when it's Guma Keria, and so I maybe should have caught myself there because he's looked better on Ornn than on Nautilus half the time.
Now, you have to deny it, right?
Yeah, you do.
Because if you had given this over for a Tristana and, say, a Prio jungle pick, I would have been very disappointed. Now, Nidalee is still up in this game, and it's been one that we said it's advanced only. That was kind of the theme of yesterday. I think Oner definitely has the skills to pilot this champion, and I think he will take the opportunity to do so if T1 allow it. And for me, like, I actually think you could even leave Keria's pick until after the bans if you wanted to. But I think that Taliyah would have been an absolutely huge one to lock in second, because you can theoretically still flex that one, and we've seen it be very, very powerful. You can then threaten with some other options, maybe find something that you can challenge the Tristana on. But instead, it will be one of his old favorites, sticking to the Shadow Isles theme as well, which I do very much like. Let's hope for a Gwen lock-in. But no, it is going to be Azir, as Faker going to pick up one of his favorite champions. Yeah.
Just go for stock standard. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
A strong mid-jungle with Azir, Viego, post 6. You know, it's not as strong as, say, Ahri or the Taliyah. Let's see what the game plan is going to be here for Nongshim. I mean, this is definitely the memorable pick, so this hover is very funny. And now if it actually comes to pass, like, we might have a repeat. I don't think so. That champion's been changed a lot. Not really viable at the moment, but
I don't know. You could talk to Team Liquid, man. They still like to play it.
That's true. And
that being said, I don't know whether they still like to play it. They did a couple of matches
They did play it.
Yeah.
That's the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
But the Ziggs Nautilus lane here into Senna/question mark did not go well against the Nautilus lane of Pays and Lehens earlier on. We'll see if it's going to be a different story this time around, as Keria is going to lose his Ornn here. This is not a shocker. That's the most common next to the Kench, which will also likely be banned here as well. And it's strong bans against Keria, but you know that he has a lot of other stuff that he's willing to play, so I don't know how much of an impact it'll really make, but I think it's a stock standard and probably the most optimal choice.
I'd actually really like to see Senna Seraphine. That's what I'd like. Maybe you can get some pushback against the Ziggs, who's going to be poking a lot. You'd have double sustain, be kind of absurd. The Nidalee going to be taken away here from Sylvie. Not going to have his hands on that one. Maybe even, do you look in Wukong to deny Keria's Wukong? Like, Wolf, is that what you do?
Oh,
like,
I mean, everybody
of course,
knows
it's Sylvie's favorite.
Yeah, everybody knows I love to talk about Sylvie's Wukong. So I'd love to see it, but I don't know if it really...
Isn't that the world door in there? Like, that's a silly world. I don't want it, like, it's too silly. You know?
It's Nongshim, sorry, Atlas, that's how it goes. Now, this is the other pick I thought he might play if Tahm Kench was banned, was the Camille. They're more worried about that than the Tahm Kench we did see fall flat on its face earlier this week. So it is possible In fact, that the Tahm Kench they feel is weaker here, and it's pretty weak into the Ziggs. Obviously, is it going to be able to punish the Ziggs as well in the lane matchup there when they're left solo against each other when the Senna is roaming around? So perhaps they're just happy to play against the Tahm Kench. I think that's a wise choice. I'm more concerned about something like a Camille that has a lot of agency and combat power into a Ziggs.
I do really like the Maokai ban. I think Maokai Tristana just a little bit too strong to let through.
There's just, there's so many different picks that can be played here for Sylvie, and I wonder if he's just going to end up going with the Xin Zhao that has been kind of the one that's left up.
I do think that Sejuani is a little bit better because it's also denial from Keria.
That's true. That's a good point.
Potentially wanted to play that. And so that's the only thing that would add. I do agree that Xin Zhao probably would have been what he wanted to play. And he's like, damn, I guess I have to stop Keria from doing it. And now Keria is going to go through a gigantic list of things he could potentially play and then land on Tahm Kench. Oh.
Well, I mean,
he is probably the best Tahm Kench that we have.
That's definitely true. I mean, he's had some insane moments on this pick during the Senna meta that we've had this year, and it doesn't always feel safe to just take the Nautilus away from T1, as once again the Kennen to be hovered here. Now, of course, this is not going to be a counter pick for Zeus. They are on blue side. Let's see what Dundun's answer is going to be into this. Twisted Fate that we saw crush earlier is gone. This does not spark confidence. I much prefer the Gnar.
I like the Yordle off, Yordle off kind of fun towards that top side of the map. The Gnar version of it is better than the Teemo version, I guess, but it is. We have seen Gnar one other time so far this season. He's sort of making a little bit of a resurgence after a couple of buffs.
It can be decently good into the tanky farming Tahm Kench as well later on into the game. Another additional damage threat with this Tristana to actually burst down that tank, the front line that's looking to keep the carries alive. But I gotta say, I feel like the ease of execution for Nongshim just isn't there. I feel like this comp is quite complex to play out because you're once again Tristana Ziggs, so you have some burn damage in the longer fight. You can take out structures very quickly, but that's if you get control. You don't get control against T1 unless you play out a flawless early game. They should be able to get some power in that lane down there, but I really worry about what Oner is going to be able to get done here in these lanes here, mid and top, with this Viego pick and how disastrously this could go in the early game for Nongshim, and then recovery is just not going to be an option. Plus the fact that you have to manage Narbar in these team fights, and T1 has been we've seen some of the cleanest turns in fights and Baron takes at specific timings where your Narbar isn't going to be ready, you're not necessarily going to be in position. I feel like the complexity of this draft is over Nongshim's head, if I'm honest with you, Atlas.
Yeah, it could certainly be. I do think that if there is anything that Dundun can do, it's find miracle team fights sometimes, And with some miraculous utilization of that Narbar, maybe he can sort of crush his way into these fights and find that ultimate that could be really pivotal with exactly what we saw BNK Furex try to utilize in our last series. We'll see whether it works out better for Nongshim here as they try to take down T1 here in Game 1. All right. Nongshim fans, actually, I think, almost evening out the chance here in Lol Park. A very difficult task up against the incredible amount of noise that is made by the T1 fans. Definitely very, very good here for Nongshim. So we'll see whether they are going to be able to translate that to some success on the Rift. A difficult one, but not impossible, Wolf. I think that this is like as good a draft as any. Let's see how they go. I am very, very happy to see Zeus once again on Kennen though, because we know him. He's the god of thunder. We do say it a little bit differently, but that is still who he is.
Yeah, no, I mean that is his kind of his namesake, and it's a strong pick for him. It has been historically. He's played AD on it. He's had a lot of fun going first strike in this particular case. And one thing I want to talk about is Faker because it's been talked about quite a lot, but I feel like it's good to have a refresher that his MSI performance versus his regular season performance for Spring could not have been more different, right? We've known Faker's had wrist injuries in the past. We know he's been pretty successful at dealing with burnout as a player, as our longest standing pro player. And we'll see how well he plays in these first few weeks of LCK, because he's also been dealing with a lot of media stuff, right? The guy's been busy. He's the first inductee to the Hall of Legends. He's done a lot of media events here in Korea, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's extremely busy, right? Hasn't had a ton of rest time, so I do want to, look at Faker through a really, I guess, not microscope, but kind of like a magnifying glass in terms of how his lane performance is looking and how his wrists are looking, because that's a big question mark we're going to have in a long double round-robin season that's ahead of him.
Yeah, and let's hope that, I did see that has been playing a bit of solo queue as well quite recently. We know that there has been some issues there as well, just to pile onto it. Practice hasn't exactly been the easiest for T1. I did see that he has been able to at least get a couple of games in, and that looks like it is going okay. Hopefully that continues, and we don't have jerks being jerks. As Fisher, decent trade there, but you can see Faker just going to drink some potions. He's got some cookies there as well, he should be all right. As everything kind of business as usual here in this laning phase.
Yeah, so far, nice level 3 there from Fisher to try to get an advantage, but Faker handles it well. Top side is where Sylvie is doing Krugs right now. And, Zeus obviously being Kennen, and with the passive is going to be able to have this lane pushed up. Oner's coming over. There is a ward in this brush, but he's here faster than the Sejuani. Going to try to actually threaten and threaten Sylvie really by pulling him over here.
Gets that ward over the wall. Doesn't know that Sylvie is right here, as they do manage to start this one off. Dundun able to get the hop over, and now Oner doesn't have turret aggro. That's extraordinarily important, but it's a great boomerang to help get a bit of extra damage, but they still turn it onto Sylvie. Shuriken lands, but Dundun, enough distance has been gained, and Zeus not able to get that W off. So, it is a few summoner spells now down. Double flashes used by both of the Nongshim players. And, the back almost stopped there by Faker. And you could hear it here in Lowell Park. Everyone doing the whole ooh
A little bit of a groan there, but
yeah.
I gotta say, I thought the game plan was gonna be a little bit different. I thought Oner was specifically gonna try to go and pressure Sylvie and pull Dundun out of the turret, but he actually just was so fast on the play. He looked for the pick on the Dundun first, and Sylvie a little bit slow there. And as you critically pointed out, the lack of turret aggro meant that they both had to flash. Very concerning there. And if Zeus gets the stun, it's even worse here, and Dundun likely goes down. Not able to get it, though, not able to press that W. Just enough distance gained there for Dundun, but a successful play here for T1, even not in kills, or if not in kills, by the double flashes expended.
Yep. Still not end of the world, and of course, T1 with a fair bit of scaling on their side. You can see already just naturally ahead in gold, largely to do with Zeus and his CS advantage that he has built up for himself towards his top side. Dundun with a little bit of a pushback, as both of the top laners are fresh off some teleports. And Faker holding his own, like you were saying, in this mid lane. Fair bit of pressure being put on by Fisher here. So far, laning very, very well.
Yeah, much better than what we saw in the BNK series. Also grabbing a cull, so just trying to, basically invest in hitting that spike later on. I think this is a good buy. Zeus, level up. That's half your health bar. He doesn't have teleport anymore. He just used it, so...
Yeah, wanders over and gets level 5, but needs level 6 if he wants to start repairing that health bar by just turning Mega over and over again. Certainly is a way that you can do it, as Faker looks for an opportunity, gets the rocket jump out of Fisher there. Faker knowing that if he presses R, a W is the problem that he has to deal with, so just baits that one out. And then looks for a little bit more, fakes it back there as well, which was kind of cute. And now Fisher just going to try and push this in once again. Explosive charge, just helping the Tristana get control of the wave over and over again. Cannon going to be dealt with now by Faker. So, if at first you don't succeed, Wolf, you try and you try again.
The sequel, if they can hit this timing before Dundun hits 6, Zeus has 6.
Oh, Sylvie going to move on over. Oh, Guga! Anchor comes out of the wall, but great reaction there from Oner to make sure that he doesn't get hooked up. That could have been an absolute disaster. Big jump scare as well. Shoutouts to Jonah Strong for keeping the drama.
Yeah, that was a really good call from Nongshim. And Guga having the experience to realize, look, Zeus is up on experience. He's going to have ult advantage before Dundun hits 6. And with flashes for both the jungler and top laner down, it's a really easy play to make. There's no getting away from that slicing Maelstrom. So it's a good roam from Guga to go over there and support that. So Dundun now does have 6. All that pressure is relieved. He's still very far behind in farm. So this is not great news, but it could have been worse, right? And Guga able to shut down the play.
Yeah, I actually, I kind of don't mind where Dundun's at, right? He just needs to not die. I think if he doesn't die, then he can still possibly find himself an ultimate in the later stages of the game. This is what we're used to seeing with Dundun, and I'm going to cast a curse him instantly. Now gets underneath the turret. All right, he's alive for now. He's down to 100. The Shuriken is not going to land, but there's the Heartbreaker, and it does exactly that. As that's first blood going over to Oner, and Dundun is now lying flat on the dirt.
Let's be real. We all knew he was dead. I just wanted to say he was alive so I could also even up our caster curses.
Oh, thanks, man.
He didn't have Flash. Heartbreaker was up. And Oner has Flash as well. I mean, had and still does because he didn't have to use it, but there was no getting out of that. He could Flash Heartbreaker.
Ooh, nice satchel.
Yeah. Not going to lead to too much here as Keria just tanks it up, but ultimately it's a dead top laner, but the Dragon does go the way of Nongshim on the bottom side, so not empty-handed here by any means. We'll see what soul it's going to be. It's not going to be Ocean or Chemtech, so at least chances are good that it is going to be valuable. The Drake lead is meanwhile.
Yeah, we got a gobble towards his bottom side. Mega Inferno Bomb going down though as Keria's taking so much damage. In goes Gumayusi, just trying to keep them busy, and eating the Grey Health is Keria, but Gumayusi's going to be left to the wolves, and Sylvie locks down the kill. Oner not able to get anything back on the other side, and Fisher is coming in as well, looking for some of these resets, as he does manage to get the explosive charge down, but another nice use of a bit of that thick skin, and Keria is just fine.
Keria calculated as always,
obviously.
Knows the damage, knows the numbers, knows how far he can push it.
He was at 11 HP, so he had even 10 HP to work with afterwards. As Flash being drawn by Dundun hits Mega Gnar and really starts to put some of that pressure back. Zeus, I think, was... Oh, he had actually just come back, did have some money on him, and now Dundun in Mini Gnar form has Gumayusi coming up. And once again, he's going to be pushed out of the lane.
No ult for Guma just yet, so can rest easy and take this back. But it is going to be another wave crashing into his turret before he has teleport back, and this is really unfortunate. I mean, T1 get the kill, bottom side, yes, but Faker is able to, because of Fisher's roam, grab a plate. There's a plate top side. They had that plate top side earlier, so this is a good proactive punish here from Nongshim. Really, I mean, Keria had no business going to look for this, and he does survive in part due to his Grey Health, in part due to Guma's heal coming through, but it is going to cost Nongshim a lot this play, and the fact that the kill goes over to Sylvie as well and not Jiwoo is just the kind of the icing on top of the cake of how unfortunate this is, especially with Keria getting out here, the shield going to block the extra damage from the charge there attached to him. So Fisher tries to get the kill, but ends up giving a plate to Faker instead.
Even gets his Buster Shot out as well. That'll be up relatively soon, so not exactly end of the world. Is now Gumayusi still here. Hop out here from Dundun, and Sylvie not going to pull the trigger. In fact, didn't have a trigger to pull. Still reloading on the Glacial Prison.
Indeed.
Fine. It's back up now, but not going to be able to be used just yet. Oner waiting in the wings as well. He is going to be discovered by the Sejuani. Dundun wondering why everyone is in his lane.
Yeah, Dundun is the main character of this game.
He often is, for better or worse, is what it feels like.
We're definitely in the part of where the conflict is really rising. We'll see if we can find the resolution. If this was a story, this is the toughest part.
Did we start with Empire Strikes Back? Is that what's happening here? Oh, dear.
He is missing an arm.
Oh, no.
And it hasn't even been made robotic yet.
Yeah. He's learning who his father is. Actually, probably already knew that.
Yeah. We all know Zeus is his father, let's be honest, Atlas.
That's not what I meant.
That was foreshadowing, Atlas, come on.
Too much shadowing. Speaking of which, that's where Oner is right now. He'll kite back towards the grubs. That was the best segue that I had. He will be able to at least...
He's also Keen's grandson, Atlas! Come on, have you been paying attention?
Oh, God. He's going to be talking about this family tree the entire time. His fathers and fathers and fathers. Okay.
His great-grandfather was Smeb!
Oh, now it's playing Kennen. It's just too beautiful. Oh, God. All right, well, it is going to be Nongshim taking a couple of grubs. T1 did manage to grab their fourth. That is certainly good news for them. But Nongshim still getting a couple back, so we'll not have maximized grub power on the side of T1. Gold advantage, it is just kind of ticking up.
All right, so if I was to cup half full, if you watch the Wolf of the LCK for the last few years, you know it's a rare occurrence, but you know sometimes we do it.
Bated breath.
The fact that Nongshim is only 1,500 gold behind in this game where insane pressure has been put on top side, and it's been handled pretty well by Sylvie. He's been able to match Oner decently well. Din only 30 CS behind, not actually killed multiple times, relieved the pressure decently well. I feel like, you know, I mean, Nongshim's holding their own. That's where I'm getting at here. And
are we going with a could be worse?
I feel like a year and a half ago, we'd be looking at like a 4,000 gold lead here for T1, but I think these players are leveled up.
Heck yeah.
That's it. That's the cup half full.
I like it. And I'm looking forward to potentially a team fight for Nongshim. We were talking about this the entire time. BNK had a very similar composition. There is certainly a lot of R-button presage that you could do with this comp that could eventuate in something good, as Sylvie here does have the Glacial Prison. Oner playing very aggressively, and that's because Keria's on his way in. Guga's in trouble. Mega Inferno Bomb comes down, but unfortunately the depth charge just a little bit mistimed, and therefore the Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't really do too much. Fisher with some time in the mid lane, and Faker was roaming down. Nongshim intelligently backing away from that one.
Really good buffer on the route there from Guma as well by Guger, so he's able to get out of dodge there, doesn't end up falling. So well handled again by Nongshim. It does feel like T1 had a huge opportunity there, but Nongshim were able to walk out relatively unscathed. Fisher does pick up a plate, but they will lose the Dragon after the exchange, and that's really the ultimate prize T1 was looking for. We just go straight back to lanes, right? And then it's Zeus the lead here. In mid lane, Faker's starting to get back control.
That's a pretty nice Dragon there as well. Hextech, Soul going to be on the cards. Both teams with one Dragon as well. So a possible 3-stack of these Hextechs if they are going to get towards that Soul as well. Very, very dangerous. So Dragon's going to be, I think, a bit of a focal point in this game.
Look at the jungle proximity. And the fact that that's only 3% different here, I mean, Sylvie's really had great sense of what T1 is trying to do with this draft and with this cannon pick.
Yeah. Sylvie as well just hasn't really been as active around these lanes either. Pretty cool that we do get to see that graphic in action. And despite that, Oner's still able to grab a few extra camps as he's Blade of the Ruin King now. I do love that it's like more accurate. Yeah, more accurate first item finally back. There's been so many Kraken Slayer first items for Viego, and it bothers me, man. Like, you've got an item that is your item.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's going to build that one, so that feels real good.
Even worse, Divine Sunderer, remember that?
Oh, no. That's not what you want to do. Although, I guess the name is kind of like Viego vibe.
Sure.
You're like sundering the Divine, and he's kind of got that bad guy attitude. I'm into it.
Well, we're going to see this Herald start up from T1, and, you know, this is a Senna early game, right, with sitting on a Dirk, and they're still happy to take this fight because the bottom side is where Nongshim are trying to make a play here, but even Faker is not really under any threat. Okay.
Ooh, Glacial Prison, just barely out of range.
Faker's calculated. You know?
Yeah, that looked like it hit, but didn't.
He doesn't flash those.
Nope. I would have. I would have flashed as I saw it coming over the wall, though, to be perfectly honest. I was like, oh!
He baited Sylvie's ult.
Yeah, there we go.
Hold on, walk up, walk back. It's the walking strategy again, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, the walk is the most powerful. I'm really glad that Orcs did bring that to our
He's got two boots. He knows the strat.
So many boots. I thought you said 2 boots. I looked down. I was like waiting for Swifties and Sork boots just to really get into Hooney's head, you know?
Faker's been looking for a way to unlock that lock that's on the boots in the shop for years, man. He spent the last decade trying to figure it out, but he hasn't been able to figure it out yet.
And they keep changing it right as he's on the cusp of figuring it out. Oh, man. All right, well, Gumayusi and Keria now just shoving in this mid-wave. We'll be able to get a bit of damage down. Not a lot of people here at the ready to try and defend, but I don't think they're going to stick around. Not enough information to know exactly what's going on. And thankfully, Jiwoo does have a lot of wave clear, but they haven't really utilized satchels too much. They have managed to take down their first turret as Gumayusi gets half health very, very quickly.
Yeah, he is obviously, you know, as the Senna in this case, significantly behind in experience, and it's the burst build. So I was going to mention this earlier, but we can start talking about it because you can see in action now. He has a Ludens. Oh man,
isn't Ludens into Shadow Flame as well for like Mega Burst?
So Ox is already getting excited because he knows there's no Leandries, okay, there's no Blackfire Torch, and this is the burst that we didn't see in the previous BNK game where they tried to burst down the Senna and got her to like half health, and then she just backed and didn't care. This time you will actually have the burst against these squishy targets, right? The Viego that's not going to have a whole lot of MR, the Azir, obviously the Kennen. This is a fantastic choice by Jiwoo, and he's one of our more creative players, but I also say in terms of itemization, he's been pretty intelligent there in the past. So that's a good sign. I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually think that, and Jiwoo honestly has been one of our greatest players at adapting his builds to certain situations. We know that he was pretty famous for, you know, just picking different mythics when they were a thing on Neela over and over again, finding different opportunities and them working out most of the time. So very cool to see. And he is going to finish his Oblivion Orb as well. As now Sylvie looking for Oner. He will be able to find some permafrost here, but that is going to be a nice buffer on the Heartbreaker. Still gets an ultimate out, and Sylvie holds on to his.
With Faker being so close by, I think Sylvie really was considering just ulting the Heartbreaker landing location, but he was like, we can't really follow. Faker's going to be there. He's got Emperor's Divide, so let's just hold it. Gets an ultimate for free.
Yeah, and also holding the ult, and in 30 seconds it's the first Hextech Dragon. Actually kind of huge that he will have that tool and Oner is out of his. So that is certainly good news. Still a lot of very pivotal ultimates now, on T1's side.
One of the weaker parts of this build for Ziggs, though, is he's not going to have the same long-term damage output in these fights, so he needs to find a target with Gugur and blow them up instantly at the beginning of the fight. And then Nongshim have a real fighting chance in this objective. Dundun also getting his Narbar ready, potentially for that teleport in. We'll see how well he can manage that here. Does have it now, but obviously is going to back here, so won't be able to Gnar at the beginning of this fight. But that's one of the tough parts of the ease of execution we were talking about this composition. We'll have the TP to show up, but the Mega Gnar, unfortunately, already timing out.
Yep, Trinity Force is done, so that is item number 1 here for Dundun. But Dash Cannon and 2 needlessly large rods are already there for Zeus. He is very, very, very far ahead. And that I don't think even was enough berries, you know, and that was, it felt like a lot.
Needless to say. Needless 2 rods. Yeah, he's big.
He is. And now Nongshim possibly set up. They do have control of the Banana Brush, and we know that that is always very, very important. They also have Rift Scuttle Vision. Dundun wants to charge this Narbar. T1 very, very good at turning on a dime just in general.
Dundun, they're just not giving him a ton of opportunity to charge this up. There's no blue buff or anything like that either for him to get that up with. He actually has to just auto carry or get over this minion wave. Getting closer to it, but he's under threat. And then now this is a good opportunity. I mean, look, Fisher can rush this dragon down so quickly. I think T1 are just going to have to let this one go.
Yeah, too much vision control here for Nongshim. They had control of the river. Face checking wasn't really an option here for T1. And so Nongshim able to grab that first Hextech Drake. It is not the end of the world, right? This wasn't Nongshim stacking the first 2. T1 being able to get that Chemtech Dragon actually kind of important here to delay that potential soul.
And Jiwoo's wave clear is so good that even though T1 were able to charge mid, they're not quite able to actually take the turret out itself. So Nongshim were able to defend that one while also taking the dragon. A big win would have been bigger, obviously, as you mentioned, if the Chemtech had gone their way, but still, Nongshim playing very well around this first objective. Now, T1 have gotten a lot elsewhere. It's not a huge win here in terms of the bigger picture for Nongshim, but again, as this Ziggs gets more items online, the burst gets stronger. There's definitely a world where with proper engage and that burst landing, it could end up winning some team fights here.
Yeah, and it doesn't get that much better for T1 in the next fight as well, because the 2-item spikes are starting to come in. Fisher finishes his fidget spinner, as Dagon coined it, in his very first day. And then we also have Jiwoo heading towards 2 items very, very shortly. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Nongshim can actually accomplish with that, as Guga is going to hook in a direction that wasn't exactly great for his health bar. As Gumayusi does punish him there just a little bit, but he will be absolutely fine. And there is the Horizon focus now done for Jiwoo.
Trying to keep this turret alive, I think they will.
Dundun, that was beautifully played by Zeus here as he dash cannons, and Dundun runs the other direction. It looks silly from Zeus, but Dundun has sealed his own fate. As on the top side of the map, we get a big ol' zoom from Jonah Strong as Sylvie flubs the ultimate, unfortunately. So no punish on the cross map here for Nongshim, and T1, they'll just get another kill under Dundun.
Yeah, Aslan's chilling in Narnia with all the ults that you asked missing, man. He's like, man, stop.
He's on his throne of glacial prisons, you know, and crystal arrows. Yeah. Oh, and we got another team fight as Jiwoo is really dead. Zeus
is so huge.
Yeah, he has just come out of his short break, and he's like, I'm going to play cannon, I'm going to kill everyone. And that's what he's going to continue to do. As another Yordle is on the ground, he's like, I am the Yordle that's allowed to exist in this game. He killed 3 of them, one after the other.
It just doesn't even matter. Like, he doesn't need his Zhonya's to set up a good ult. He's just picking people on his own. Okay, Here we go. Is Sylvie the hero?
Yeah. Sylvie was looking for an angle as everyone closes in on him. And that is going to be the Baron going down. And all of a sudden, T1 are excruciatingly far ahead, and it is almost doomed for Nongshim.
Would have been easier to steal if he was playing Wukong, but
yeah.
But he probably still would. With that setup, it would not have mattered. And now finally they will get that mid turret. As Oner, will he get punished for it? There's no one near Sylvie, but there's a Ziggs ult. Okay, Dundun teleports in.
Yeah, Dundun does have a decent Nabar as well as he's about to hit Mega Gnar. There's the flash.
No!
Another miss, unfortunately, as Oner is in the mist, heading towards that top side. Fisher, maybe you can... No, he's a bit too far away as... cue the music as
they got him right.
Down Permafrost, that one's targeted, baby.
No!
Never mind, it doesn't matter.
No,
He's back into the mist once again. The Gnar goes completely the wrong direction, and Nog, I'm so sorry.
I get up and walk off the stage if that's.
I wanted to, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was flipping my microphone.
I mean, Oner played it well, but like they should not have gotten out.
Oh, we needed to cue the trumpets. The yakety sax wasn't there, but it needed to be. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
In Nongshim's defense, I mean, the last play was probably worse. Like, that was probably the game over moment, right?
Yeah, but this one was more painful.
Oh, God,
how do they play the rest of the best of 3 after that?
Well, we're going to watch it happen. That's what's going to happen from here on.
I feel like I always cast the T1 Nongshim game. Yeah. And they always have their own special charm.
You know what the best part is? They're almost always 3 games as well. You get it on every side.
Yep.
And this is the very serious, we're going to win.
Okay, watch this part. Watch this part.
Yeah.
Watch where he dodges it. Oh, deft play from Oner.
Yep.
I'm glad we got the first person for that.
I mean, he did aim it towards where Oner's base was sort of... yeah, there's no saving it, really, is there? And
what does he say? What does he say? Okay, that was clever.
He wasn't even on the screen.
Well, he can't see him, obviously, so he doesn't know. He just guessed, but like, he doesn't have a sweeper. You know, there's nothing you can do.
I like the commitment from Dundun, though. If you're gonna do it, you may as well do it with all your buttons.
Yeah, if he didn't do it at all, it would have actually been worse. So you gotta press the buttons.
Well, now Oner is going to start up T1's first Hextech Dragon. That will even things out at 2 dragons apiece. The Rebel Baron power play sitting at 4,000, and now we have a gold lead that's moved up towards 7, and it was kind of 3 or 4 throughout most of this, but now we've got Void Staff, Death Cap, and Dash Cannon for Zeus.
Zeus, he does not trust, man. He's checking with his Dash Cannon, he's sweeping.
Oh, it's also the Yoda Cannon skin, one of the oldest in the book. But and it doesn't really look like Yoda until you're in game, and then you're like, hang on, this is Yoda. This is amazing.
It is great.
Yep.
I like Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh, that was clean.
That was pretty good. Bust shot getting the extra value with the AOE. Just used for disengage though is Dundun on the split push. This is how they won Challenger that year when they shouldn't have, right?
That's true.
He's not quite at 7 deaths yet, but he could get there. As Guga making his way forward.
T1 are just not taking any chances.
Nope, no risks at all.
And unfortunately,
look at the highlight.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to almost.
Would you say 4.5 thousand gold is a big lead?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I could say that.
When the stats come up and it says time spent in a major lead, a major advantage, you know, that you sometimes get, I think that's what that means.
No, I think you're just T1 biased.
So is the golden top lane. Well, the golden top lane absolutely is as well. Oh my God.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
I mean, that play from Oner has actually broken both of us.
I know.
I'd like to apologize in advance for the rest of today. That's just, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm so glad Dagon isn't here to see us like this. Well,
he's watching at home, though.
Yeah, oh, no. Oh, please tell me he isn't. Dagon, can you send us a message and say that you're not watching? That would be fantastic.
He's on, he might be on like google.com/flights right now. He might be sending a message to the LEC production.
Things have gotten too silly over here.
All right, so, well, I mean, T1 are just grouping and taking turrets off the map. We haven't been talking about this game in a very serious light because, you know, it isn't very fun to do so, but it is fun to talk about how you know, the cannon is basically a fountain laser, and every shuriken takes half the health bars of Nongshim away. Yeah. And then if he stuns you, you just die before he gets to ult. So he doesn't need his Zonias, he doesn't need protection. He has an extra needlessly large rod on top of the Void Staff he built third. You know, normally we're like, oh, okay, Void Staff second, you know, and then Zonias, or you go Zonias second, and you're like, ooh, can he take in that Void Staff for damage? No, he's got a Death Cap and a Void Staff.
Yeah, and also, like, Zeus has always been the guy that, like, most people think of Kennen, they're like, you need a Zonias, you know, you dash cannon into the fight, you press Slicing Maelstrom, and then, haha, you can't hit me because I press Zonias. Zeus says you can't hit me because you're dead. That's been his theory on this champion for a really long time. As there is, unfortunately, another dead Dundun. Keria with a beautifully placed Abyssal Dive. And just set up for all of that damage, like you were saying.
Dodge the Abyssal Dive, he could not. How it goes.
Wait, no, Baby Yoda doesn't sound like that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
He just croons and stuff. As, all right, Mega Inferno Bomb coming down. They're trying to get a kill onto Keria.
They get him right.
He is so tanky.
Okay, they got him.
Finally. He is going to be taken out. I thought maybe he was going to survive there as a Heartbreaker over, but Fisher actually flashes it. It's a double for Sylvie.
All
and
right.
now Zeus is here. Guga is just going to die. Fake is able to pick up that kill after just the edge of the dash cannon from Zeus helped him grab that with a Sand Soldier auto. And T1 are going to try and knock down this bottom inhibitor turret, but they're not actually going to stick around. They lose Oner, they lose Keria. They don't push the situation.
Yeah, they lose the wave too, so it's really just not possible as Keria is just chilling here. Meanwhile,
we got a Faker had his back stopped. I was actually wondering whether that was going to happen. And Fisher is able to cancel it. Zeus, he finds a Slicing Maelstrom, but unfortunately would have really liked his Onias, so maybe that's a caster curse as well. And they get two. Both solo lane is dead. The Baron is up. That's bounty gold. Oh God, the Yakety Sax Wolf!
It is a T1 Nongshim series. It's coming early. All right, so big punish onto Faker there. He does not have teleport, so when he respawns, he won't be able to get here. No, Zeus could, but this is only if they can delay this Baron. So
Oner is coming over. They need 25 seconds. Dundun on the turn. There is Guga with a decent hook. Keria able to tank for a while, but there is no way that they could do anything about it. And Nongshim, they turn on a dime. They grab the pick. There's 12 seconds on Zeus. It's down to 50% health, but with Jiwoo and Fisher, this is not long for the world. And the Baron will be taken one apiece, and Nongshim on their march for the comeback.
All right, there's a lot of vision that needs to be cleared here. Nongshim can get a big push, but they have to be wary now of that teleporting cannon because he didn't use the TP. As this is Faker getting caught here, interrupted on his back. And just a lot of greed, honestly, here from T1. Zeus also getting caught by the Satchel Charge. Decides he can 1v4 and decides to flash in an ult. So if that's not happy game, I don't know what is. But look, he almost made it happen. Like, I was actually a little bit scared for a second.
And then instantly builds an arm guard as well, I'll have you know.
Yeah, he's like, all right, well, maybe this is now where you need to play a little bit more respectful. But they're going to get soul point off of this. They have the Baron buff. The cannon flank angle is something they need to be aware of, so they need to make sure the clear vision. You can see they really did.
Double bounties as well, man, and they get soul point.
They're only 4,000 gold behind now, and you can see all those words around the dragon there, like, no flanking cannon angle. Guarantee the dragon now push as fast as we can here and try to get some more gold out of this. 1,000 gold from the bounties. 2,500 gold here, the Baron power play. They're looking for one more turret here.
And it's the Yordle Demolition Squad as well with the Tristana and the Ziggs. Look at that, it just explodes. Zeus, he's another, Yordle towards the top side. He does a fair bit of damage to this turret as well, as T1 look to try and hold on to this push.
And I mean, all that AP that Zeus has means that when he starts hitting turrets, he actually hits them really hard, but with an ult here coming through from Jiwoo and Guga, or rather Dundun coming over, he's not able to take out that inhibitor turret. And Nongshim, cresting 2,700 gold here on the Red Bull power play. Significant comeback in this game now. They still need to win a team fight to really put themselves in the lead, but a series of unfortunate events and greed from T1 is punished here, and Nongshim showcasing once again that they love these scrappy games and they will drag you down into it.
Yeah, and we're also seeing more proof that Dundun is 100% untiltable. We were almost tilted off the broadcast, we're not even playing the game, and they stuck to their guns. They fought back. They've still got a minute left on this Baron. 3.3k on the Red Bull Baron power play as well. I mean, this is anyone's game now. This is the ridiculous part about what's happening here. And now once again, you've got Fisher and Dundun. They're going to be able to take down this inner turret, and that gold gap has closed.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy what is happening in this game, too. And I mean, Faker has gone full aggressive build as well. Like, he doesn't have any defensive itemization. He is not going to last very long. For example, if he gets interrupted on his dash in by Sylvie's ult, he can't set up a big Emperor's Divide. He will get burst down. I mean, this is a big Tristana now with all those turrets going down, IE completed, and there are just really no real tanks outside of Keria in this game. And T1, I think, really need to be very careful about how they play out the rest of these skirmishes, the rest of these side lanes. And Nongshim, they have Soul Point, and that might just be the final nail in the coffin that actually wins them this game, if they can actually secure it. The burst build on the Ziggs has definitely been working out here. Look at his itemization now.
Damage in the game, and he, like I was about to mention, Wolf, like he is about to finish his Rabadon's death cap, and then he's 6 items. And yes, some of them are cheaper items, but my goodness, he is definitely going to do a whole lot of work. And we saw already that he is absolutely executing these turrets. Level 17 as well. Faker level 18. So we are getting towards the late stages of this game.
One team fight is all you need, and, and the Nexus explodes. Like it's that much damage, it's that much AP, and keep an eye on Gumayusi's Edge of Night, because if that is on cooldown and Ziggs interacts with Senna, she disappears.
Yeah, 100%. As Sylvie is brave enough to try and go for Oner once again. He flashes this time around. The Glacial Prison will be respected. And that's how most of the time it should go. Not like the weirdness that happened before. That was much better as Zeus. Ooh, on a bit of a flank angle. Still 4,000 gold ahead, but you can see some weird Senna shenanigans happening towards the bottom side of the gold graph that makes things very confusing.
Yeah, I'm not even going to acknowledge the Senna situation.
I'm just like, I could do some calculations, but my brain's already mush from previously in the game.
The key here to note is Ju has a lot of money, and he's built a lot of turrets. He has 327 CS.
He almost doesn't need the money anymore. And that's when Dundun might be able to get a money in this game.
He might get just exactly one money.
One money.
Well, this is it. Like, this fight is likely to decide the game. Even though for T1 it's not Soul, the wipe with all the damage they have in the glass cannon build here for Faker, I mean, they may just be able to push down and end. Death timer's getting longer. Baron is up in a minute as well, so T1, I mean, they can try to delay this dragon and see if they can make a mistake out of Nongshim, but Nongshim have full control right now of the pit. Full prio. Sylvie, I don't know if he wants to be like doing this right now, but he's got a big amount of distance he needs to cover to get back to that dragon.
And Dundun is also, he's level 18, right? Like, he's got his 3 items, and yes, he's... Okay, Zeus is going to stun him up. He does have his Merc Tread, so that's going to make him okay. As Fisher finds the Buster Shot. There is the Zhonya's from Zeus as Dundun finds himself in a very awkward position and will be cut down. But Zeus is out of the fight for the moment. Keria is just going to gobble up Fisher, though. And now the Abyssal Dive comes in. He's trying to get out. Fisher survives for so long, but Oner is able to pick it up, and now the resets come in. How many? It's like resets on resets right now, as he does get one with the rocket jump also. And now Keria finds the tongue lash. Sylvie not going to get knocked up, but he is in so much trouble. And Nongshim, they did so well to try and bring it back, but like dominoes, they fall one after the other. And T1 will be able to find the fight. It'll take a while because Sylvie's got a decent health bar, but there is the ace, and it is clean from T1.
Yeah, unfortunate for Nongshim there. Really a sloppy catch there on the bottom side. Dundun not able to use his Mega Gnar there, unfortunately. Good Zhonya's there from Zeus. And his play, it looked greedy. I was worried for him, but ultimately will be what causes Nongshim to lose this game as Fisher tries to turn around and fails, and T1 will win it in the end.
And I don't mind. I just love the fact that there is so much drama. Whenever we have a Nongshim versus T1, it never disappoints. Faker picks up a double as he shuffles